Okay, what if you could actually design a life where you didn't have to work for money? I know, it sounds like a fantasy, right? But it's not. It's actually a mathematical destination. Today, we're going to break down the exact roadmap to get there, and we're going to use this really powerful concept called the crossover point.
So let's just start with this question, right here. What if your living expenses were completely covered by money you didn't have to work for? Seriously, just think about that for a second. What would that feel like? This isn't just a daydream. It's a real, achievable goal with a very clear finish line.
And that finish line, that's what's called the crossover point. It's the precise mathematical moment when the income from all your assets, your investments, is greater than what you spend to live. This is the moment where the entire script flips. It's where your money finally starts working way harder for you than you do for it.
But to really appreciate the solution, we first have to get real about the problem. Why do so many of us feel kind of trapped in the first place? Well, it all comes down to the price of our life.
See, at its core, the trap we're all in is a really bad trade. Most of us spend our lives trading our time for money. But here's the thing, time is our most precious, finite resource. Once an hour is spent, it's gone forever. You can't get it back. But money is renewable. So as long as we keep making this trade without a real plan, we're always going to be on the losing end of that deal.
And the thing that keeps us on this hamster wheel is what the source material calls our survival number. It's basically the monthly cost just to keep the lights on, and our deep-seated need to cover that number is what keeps us trading away our precious, finite time day after day.
So I gotta ask you, what's your number? I mean, if you had to strip it all down, what's the absolute bare bones minimum you'd need each month for housing, food, and utilities? You can't hit a target you can't see, and knowing this number, that's the first critical step.
Okay, so now that we know the problem, let's finally get into the solution. It all starts with building a solid foundation of stability. You've got to play defense before you can even think about playing offense. And the cornerstone of that whole foundation is what's called a cash cow, which is just a reliable income source that brings in more money than you spend. That gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend, that is your wealth-building fuel. Without it, you are completely stuck at the starting line.
So with that surplus, you make two crucial moves. First, you build a $2,000 starter emergency fund. Think of this as your shield against life's little annoying emergencies. Second, you attack high-interest debt. We're talking credit cards, personal loans, using the debt avalanche method. That just means you focus all your extra cash on the debt with the highest interest rate first.
And if you want to know why this is so important, just look at this number. A pretty typical $10,000 credit card balance at, say, 28% interest costs you about $7 a day, every single day. The source calls this a poverty tax, and it is silently destroying your ability to build wealth before you even get started.
All right, so let's see how this builds. Once that nasty high-interest debt is finally gone, we can move from just basic stability to true financial security. And we do that by building a real safety net.
This is what the source bluntly calls money. And what it is a full emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of your bare bones living expenses saved up. This isn't just money in the bank, my friends. This is power. This money, it gives you the power to say no. No to a toxic boss, no to a dead-end job, no to a life you don't actually want. But just as important, it gives your investments a shield. Because when the market inevitably takes a dive, this fund is the buffer that keeps you from panic selling at the absolute worst possible time.
And now for the fun part. With our foundation secure and our safety net in place, it is time to start playing offense. It's time to build the freedom machine.
The main tools for this are tax-advantaged accounts. So think of a Roth IRA, and especially your company's 401k. And listen, if your employer offers a match, you take it, every single time. Not doing that is literally turning down a 100% return on your money. It's free money. But hold on, just contributing isn't the final step, and this is a mistake that costs people absolute fortunes. See, an investment account like a Roth IRA, it's just a container. It's like a patch of dirt. The money doesn't actually grow until you invest it inside the account, usually in something like a low-cost index fund. That's how you turn that dirt patch into a golden river. And please never ever underestimate the power of just being consistent. Because of compound growth, an amount as small as $20 a day, if you invest that for 30 years, can become over $1.2 million. It's crazy. The growth is slow at first, it's almost invisible, but then it becomes this unstoppable force.
Which brings us full circle, right back to that finish line we've been working towards this entire time, finally reaching that crossover point.
So just to recap the goal here, it's that beautiful, simple moment when the income from your investments, from your freedom machine, is greater than the cost of your lifestyle. At this point, you no longer have to work. You work because you want to.
This chart just shows how it all comes together perfectly. Your expenses, more or less, they're gonna stay flat over time. But your passive income from your investments, that just keeps growing and growing. So in year 5, yeah, the gap is huge. But by year 25, boom, the lines cross. That little inflection point right there, that's the crossover point. That right there is freedom.
So what's the plan? How do you do this? Let's put it all together into one simple roadmap.
Here it is, the entire roadmap in 4 simple stages. First, build your stability foundation. That means create a surplus, get that starter emergency fund, and kill your high-interest debt. Second, achieve security with a full emergency fund. Third, invest consistently, and finally, you will reach the crossover point.
Look, this isn't just a theory, it's a sequence. Each step builds directly on the one before it. So look at that roadmap and ask yourself honestly, what is my very next step? Your future self is waiting for your answer.